Hello.
Hi.
Let's say our bracha together. Baruch atah Adonai
Adonai.
Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lasok b'divrei Torah. We are on verse 8. B'chol 8. Here, you know what? I need to enlarge it a little bit. Here we go. I do that by closing out all these other windows and making... Okay. B'chol eight yiyu v'gadecha levanim v'shemen al roshcha al yechsar. Um, Interesting. At all time, but it doesn't even have that in the translation. Let your clothes be white, or may your clothes be white, and never let there be lacking um, oils or anointment on your head. They have ointment. That's interesting. I never thought about anoint and ointment. Anointment and ointment.
Uh, ca- You know how it says itim and moadim? Could it be that bechol et means like itim and moadim, like a holiday? Not always?
I mean, I suppose it's possible. I mean, at every time,
Yeah.
right? Oh, this cat. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, if you want, you could. Well, let's see how Rashi looks at it. You have it right there.
Oh, okay. Just leave it. Okay.
Yeah. Prepare yourself, right? Or yeah, prepare yourself at all hours with with good acts. That if you would die today, you will enter, I guess, into death in peace. And there's a mashal, there's a parable of Shlomo, the wise Solomon. Oh, who was wise? I don't know how to translate that. Um,
The parable of Shlomo the wise.
Oh, Shlomo the Wise, this matter of a man who was invited, whom the king invited for a meal, and he did not set for him a time. If he was wise and or aware, immediately he would dress in his coverings and wash himself and be anointed. I guess sach is probably nesech. Uh, V'chen et machar, and so too the next day, until the day would be the time would be of the timing of the suda of the meal would be, so that every day of his life was every hour of his clothes were white, and he was washed and I guess perfumed maybe. And this is a story that's told in Masechet Shabbat in the Talmud, that the smart guy is always prepared essentially for coming to the house of the king, or to the party of the king. And I guess he's suggesting here that that you should always be prepared for Mashiach or something along those lines. That's what it sounds like. I mean, I don't think that that's at all what the Pshat says, what the basic text says, but that's how Rashi interprets it, which is not that surprising. He does that all the time. And it reminds me of another Talmudic story about the person who is the Mashiach at the gates of the city, right, in Jerusalem. The story is found somewhere in the Talmud that who will be the heralder of the Messiah, or who himself will be the Messiah. It'll be the poor beggar guy at the gates of the city, who is leprous and of lowly class. And the story, according to the rabbis, is, well, okay, there's a lot of beggars who hang out at the gates of the city. And so which one would it be? How do you know which one is Mashiach? or the harbinger of the Mashiach. And he says, well, the lepers are constantly changing their bandages on their bodies. And if you are a typical leper or someone with a skin ailment, you would take all the bandages that are on your skin to kind of deal with all the pus and the grossness that's on it, remove them all at once, and then replace them with fresh ones. But the story, according to the Talmud, and I don't know where it is exactly, is that you can tell which one is the Mashiach based on who is doing it that way and who instead is removing one bandage at a time and putting it back on. Because if he does that, then he'll be ready for the coming. He'll be prepared to come to the timing of the Messiah will have arrived. Has anyone else heard that story? Sylvia, you have? Okay. Irvin, what's for lunch?
Oh, is my video going? I thought I had stopped my video. Sorry.
It's okay. I should have said Irvin. I should have said Pamela too.
Pamela's
Okay.
not eating, but it looks like
Both
Irvin
are
was
named
giving us a
Pamela.
knuckle sandwich
Yeah.
when you asked.
Yeah. Anyway, interesting, right? Okay, so that is the story here, and so the context is right before that, verse 7. Go eat your bread in gladness and drink your wine in joy, for your action was long ago approved by God. In other words, the state of affairs is already set. There's essentially it means there's predetermination, although it doesn't say it that way. It's kind of interesting. Any comments on verse 8? So Sylvia, you heard the story. I want to hear your thoughts, but I also did you learn it in your Daf Yomi?
I can't remember. I thought possibly, I'm trying to think where I heard it. I don't know,
Yeah,
maybe you told it to us.
maybe, maybe it's a great little story. It's often told on Tisha B'av.
Yeah, I may have heard it, okay, from this person in the Docuyomi WhatsApp and does stuff.
Okay.
But the thing about ointment that's really funny is we were studying ketubah. I know that this is kind of off the topic, but there's three things that a man pledges to take care of in his wife's life when they get married: food, clothing, and then some people translate the marital relations part as ointment, which we were all like chuckling about. So I was just now trying to look and find out where that was.
That's very interesting. In Masechet Ketubot, I'm assuming.
But and which really just stands for healthcare.
Uh-huh. Interesting. Interesting. Yeah, well, if you find it, let us know.
Okay.
All right, should we keep going? Re'echayim imisha asher ahavta kol yemei chayei hevlecha asher natan lecha tachat hashemesh kol yemei hevlecha ki hu chelkecha b'chayim uva amalcha uva amalcha asher ata amel tachat hashamesh. I think it's shamesh. It's a little hard to read. So another one of these lines. See with, and actually, can you highlight that verse, Sylvia, or Avital? I'm not sure. I think it's Avital who has it.
Yeah, it's me, but I'm not sure. Like so?
No, just click on it so that the Rashi changes.
It did, I think.
It just did, yes. See,
Sorry.
That's okay. Life with a woman who you love. See it. All the days of the life of your futility, or as they say, the fleeting days. Your fleeting days, which which he gave to you, or have been given to you, although it says he gave to you, under the sun, all the days of your futility, or they have it as fleeting. Again, all your ephemeral days, because it is your portion in the life, and with your toil, with your work, which you have toiled under the sun. So enjoy the life that you have that comes from, I guess, from your work in this world. Make the most of your day.
I think it says that come with the woman that you love.
Yes. Yeah,
Yeah.
specifically that's
Yeah.
what's mentioned. Yeah.
Mine says wife.
Yeah, that is a wife. But the Hebrew literal is im isha asher ahavta, with a woman that you love. So it is an article a, like not the. It's not assuming marriage, but it basically says go find yourself a woman to enjoy life with. And that's your reward for your work. It doesn't say reward, but it says it's your portion.
Well, it's the only thing it doesn't say that is hevel. I mean, it doesn't say it's a reward. It just say look re'eh, right? Just see the life with the woman that you love.
I
On
mean,
all
it's
of
very interesting because the use of Hevel is fundamentally different here than what we've seen. We've thought of Hevel Havalim as being vanity of vanities, utter futility. Here it really is, fleeting does seem like the right word. Your ephemeral, your ephemeral, it might be a better word, but it is this idea of something very temporary. And I wonder whether we should apply that to earlier parts of the text so that it's consistent. Because it is the same word in Hebrew. Were you going to add something, Avital? No. Okay. Anyway, this is an advertisement for happiness. Let's not lose track of that. We spend so much time being depressed about this text. I think it would be good for us to lift up that there is, in this moment, an expression of celebration of life. And yes, it's a little bit paternal in its approach, but it is still an advertisement for enjoying life in a heteronormative sense. Yes.
it doesn't say
And
you're going to be happy. It just says do it.
yeah,
I
and
suppose.
actually, mine, if it does flow with how it was before with Hevel. It says, "Live joyfully with the woman whom you love, all the days of your life of vanity, all the days of the life of your vanity," meaning where it's saying Hevel there, which is given you on the sun. I mean, so your days are, they come and go. I think the ethereal, like you were saying, is part of the vanity that other parts it was saying, life is like a mist, it's all hevel.
Yeah, I think the problem with the word vanity is it seems to have a different meaning today than when the translations may have used it. Because vanity right now, ever since Carly Simon's song saying, "You're so vain, I bet you think this song is about you," we think of vanity differently than what I think we're recognizing in this text, which is something temporary, something fleeting, something short term, and not of greater depth. Because vanity in that usage is self-absorption, egocentrism. So that's what's interesting about that word. But yeah, anyway, Sylvia, yes.
Just if you just transfer it into companionship, that, even if it is hevel, to go through that with someone can add enjoyment to, all these, the emptiness or whatever, when you're doing that with someone, doesn't necessarily have to be a wife. It can be a very, a close friend. For some people, it's their dog or their cat.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, obviously, this text is saying it should be your wife. But yes. Uh, yeah, no, I think that it's okay for us to interpret it that way. Let's see what Rashi has to say. Life with a woman whom you love. See and understand, to learn artistry in order to artistry, umanut,
Yes,
or is that nursing?
I think it's art. Or maybe
Artistry.
maybe faithfulness could become from emunah, from
I don't think so, because that nun, I think, might have a dagesh if it did. I think it is artistry, in order to be self-earning from it. Learn a trade, basically, with Talmud Torah in your hand, with the learning of Torah in your hand. Okay. It's a weird Rashi. I don't know what he's actually trying to fix. Kihu chelkecha, because this is your portion in life. If you did such, it will be your portion. This is a life in this world. To self-sustain yourself from the job in the world and in the world to come, that the two of them will arrive.
and
Mashkach adavam,
forget.
sort of, like negating transgression.
Uh, uh, oh, I thought poverty.
Avon.
But I think you're right. It's transgression. I thought it was poverty.
Yeah, I think it's actually get a job, get a job, get a job, and live happily ever after, because you get a job. It's kind of funny, actually. It's weird that he brings in umanut. That's one of the funnier Rashis, if you ask me. Anyway, okay, well, there you go. Let's keep going. Kol asher timtza yadcha la'asot bekochacha aseh ki ein ma'aseh v'cheshbon v'dat v'chokhmah bish'o asher ata holech shama. All that is found in your hands, or as they have it, whatever is in your power to do, whatever is found in your hands to do with your strength, do. Because there is no activity or accounting or knowledge or wisdom in Sheol. That's interesting, which you are going to there, where you are going. We're all going to go to Sheol, which is sometimes translated as purgatory. But anyway, you should do what you can with your strength in this world, he seems to say. Ratzon koncha ba'od she'ata b'chochacha aseh. Thoughts?
They don't translate heshbon as accounting, but I mean, we're always told, like the whole pearly gates thing, there will be an accounting of your what you've done in life. But here it says there is no heshbon, no accounting. So that's interesting to me, at least.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe if they're saying that there is no accounting and there is no um, uh, intelligence and there's no knowledge, if Sheol is purgatory in that you are going there. So if you're going to hell, um,
Well,
um,
purgatory is not hell.
but okay, but it's not heaven.
Correct. It's sort of like a truck stop on the a weighing station on the 5 or something, where you have to like check in and you wait there and you figure out whether you can go up or down. Yeah. But yeah, okay.
Pamela.
Were you? Yeah, I
Yeah,
wasn't sure if you were done. Okay.
yeah, I was wondering if the emphasis is do what you can here, because once you go to wherever you're going, you can't do anything about it. You can't reason, you can't learn, you have no ability to gain wisdom once you're in Sheol. So you might as well, on this plane, do whatever you're given to do it the best you can.
Yeah, I think that's right. I want to I want to come back to that on your point, Pamela. I think that's exactly right. I think that where it says cheshbon, to go back to Sylvia's comment, and it does relate. It could be read as maaseh v'cheshbon, as in the two things together, which could be interpreted as there is no action followed by responsibility or accountability. Action and accountability, knowledge and understanding. So that it's like it's action, comma, and I'm sorry, action and accounting or like analysis, comma, and knowledge and wisdom. Grouping them in twos instead. So that might be, in other words, there's no causality with your activities in Sheol, maybe. But to go back to what you're saying, Pamela, absolutely. And that's a very important statement, especially in contrast to Christian thinking, that this world is the world that kind of matters the most, right? If none of these things happen in Sheol or in an afterlife or in some holding station before you end up in some other universe or dimension, which some might consider heaven or hell, then what really matters is this lifetime and this lifetime alone. Embrace it, every bit of it. That's how I am reading this. And I think, Pamela, that's kind of what you're implying. All of that stuff doesn't happen in Sheol, which is where we're all going, apparently. Thoughts on that? Looking at the Rashi, it says, L'zakotcha mi shetamut. And it says, and if you have done such, there is not for you any judgment in Sheol that you would be afraid of it. And so the story of Mesoras, is that what that says? I don't know what that is. Ki ein maseh v'dad v'chokhmah b'sheol l'rishayim. There's no judgment or there's none of those things in Sheol for evildoers.
Yeah, I think I'd agree with Pamela. And my interpretation is a little bit different in the book here. It's whatever your hands find to do it with all your might, saying, do it while you're doing it. For there is no work, nor device, nor knowledge, nor wisdom in the grave. They're calling it in the grave where you are going. Saying
Okay.
we're all going to die, basically.
So Sheol for them is just the grave.
Mine is grave too.
Yeah, I wish I could. Let's see if maybe my screen is working now. Let me take a look. Nope, it isn't. Oh, wait a second. What is up with this? I don't know. I'm not going to worry about it. Okay. Well, in any case, it does suggest uvacharta b'chaim, that you should live this life of yours. You should choose life and embrace it and make the most of it, because this is really what matters. This time is what matters. That is in pretty stark contrast with what we hear in a lot of Christian circles, the focus on heaven, right? Ours is, in this text, very this worldly.
Yeah. And one thing I'd say about Sheol, it's kind of interesting. I've heard a lot of different interpretations. I have heard purgatory, I've heard hell, and I've also heard, well, it's just where the next step is. Not even saying it's a place where God will judge, or that'll be like where you were before you were born or something. Be back with your fathers, your ancestors. So there's different interpretations of it, of course.
Okay, you know what? I'm going to switch over to my screen. I was able to get it to work by opening a new screen. So, Sylvia, if you close that out, I'm going to go to, or I'm sorry, Avital. Then I can go. Okay, great. Thank you. I don't know why I kept saying Sylvia. Okay. Yes. Okay. And action. Okay. Oh, we're moving slowly. But anyway, I thought it would be good to take a look at the word Sheol.
Yeah.
And see what they have here.
That'd be good.
The underworld, the netherworld, the grave. So in the time of the Bible, it could have just been the grave. But we have the word Sheol appearing elsewhere. In fact, I think in the book of Jonah even, there's a reference to Sheol. Doesn't he, in the poem in chapter 3, doesn't he descend to Sheol?
That I don't know, but in the Torah, Jacob refers to it. If Benjamin it wouldn't come back from the trip down to Egypt, when the brothers to take him down there, when Joseph was doing the test on them.
Aha. Interesting. Well, here's what we have. Okay, it's acting weird. I don't know why it's doing that. Okay, I'm going to let it go. So Sheol and Shaul are basically the same word in this, which is unfortunate. Oh, here's Jonah. Yeah, I just thought it would be good to take a look at this because we know this one. Vayomer Karati, he said, in my trouble I called to the Lord. Oh, it's chapter 2, sorry. And he answered me, from the belly of Sheol I cried out, and you have heard my voice. That's while he's in the innards of the fish. So Sheol is an interesting word, and I did see the reference to Genesis that you mentioned, Irvin. Here, let's take a look at that real quick. Is that it? Yeah. All his sons and daughters sought to comfort him, but he refused to be comforted, saying, no, I will go down mourning to my son in Sheol. Vayefkoto Aviv, and his father cried for him. Sheola. Anyway, it does seem to be some... So the grave might be just perfectly fine as a translation. It's definitely an underworld. Okay. Let's keep going. Shavti v'ra'o tachat hashemesh ki lo lakalim hamerot. I don't know those words. That's interesting. Lo Lagiborim hamilchama vegam lo chachamim lechem, la chachamim lechem, v'gam lo la nevonim asher osher, v'gam lo la yodim hechen, ki et vafega yikre et kulam. That's some clunky Hebrew. I don't know, Avital, if you feel the same way, but it does not. It's not a very. I don't know. As you can see, it's written out as a poem, which may be a sign that this really was, understood as being sort of in a strange tone, that it just is odd to translate. I sat and I saw under the sun that.
I would say the kalim means the skinny ones, that not for the lightweight, the race, and not
Merotz is
for
a
the
race, I
heroes,
guess.
the war. Yeah, so I guess he's saying people don't win necessarily.
Right. I mean, I think it's another example of the way in which there's reversals of what might, that it seems out of alignment with cause and effect. I think that's the biggest existential phenomenon that is really hard in this book. We call it pessimism, but another way to refer to it is there is no causality, moral causality. Bad things happen to good people, good things happen to bad people. You can be bad your whole life and have the same results as someone who's been good their whole life. Everything feels random. And I think that's kind of where we are here. It says, I further observed. I think that's their translation of Shavti. I returned and I saw and saw under the sun that the race is not for the swift, right? I think that's actually not bad,
Right.
and not the and the heroes are not for the war or the battle by. It's implying one, but it doesn't actually say that. One, WON. The race is. It's really the race is not for the swift, nor the battle, nor the strong ones, nor for the strong ones the war, nor bread for the wise ones, and also not wealth for the nivonim, for the wise people, probably from Binah,
Yes.
and also not grace for the knowledgeable, or favor for, I think favor's fine, for the knowledgeable ones. Ki et vafega yikre et kulam. For the time of, event or wounding or some sort of dysfunction will happen to everybody.
Yeah. Now, mine, I kind of like the way it's translated for the last line here. I don't know if it's correct or not, but it makes it real easy to understand. It says, but time and chance happen to them all. So there's good lucky and bad lucky out there is what it's saying.
Yeah. I mean, it is interesting that they use the word pega, which I think means like a pagua is like a
Hit. Like it's like to be hit.
an
Mifgal.
encounter, a strike, a touch.
Yeah.
I feel like pagaat is a word. I don't know.
Lifgoa.
To strike. Yeah,
Yes.
to be stricken. Right. A pagua, isn't that like a terrorist attack?
Yes.
So et vafega. Very interesting language.
I mean, I'm sure this isn't what they mean, but the race is not won by the swift. I think of the tortoise and the hare. Um,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting.
And I wonder, when you look at nor the bread won by the wise, nor the wealth by the intelligent, nor the favor by the learned, all of those point to problems if you're a student of that's studying all the time and they can't support themselves.
Interesting.
Just because you're wise and intelligent doesn't mean that you're going to have the things that you need to support yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like the perpetual student who keeps going to school and getting more and more degrees, but doesn't want to leave and go to work. I mean, that's a more modern, um, I mean, I'm sure that, I mean, also the people that hang around the study halls of old. And that, that was an issue back then. The people who had to work and couldn't, and the people who didn't have to work and could study all day, like Tevye. That's what he wanted if he was a rich man.
Yeah. Kind of reminds me of a Bob Dylan song, though, too.
Which one?
Oh, those that are first will come last, and come gather around people wherever you roam. That one.
Times they are changing.
Yeah. Times they are changing. Thank you.
Well, I think it does go back to what I said just a moment ago about just a verse ago about the kind of randomness or the lack of causality inherent in this system that we find ourselves in. You don't win the fight just because you're a good fighter.
Right.
So everything is a little. We have. I mean, another theme here besides the randomness of it all is the inability to control. We don't have control. We have to recognize our limitation. And that's one reason why, as we learned at the beginning of this class, go find yourself your beshert and go live happily ever after, because you're not going to have any living once you're dead. Like, it's actually an anti-afterlife text in a way. But in this particular passage, the focus seems to be, so with that in mind, perhaps under the sun means during this lifetime of ours.
Yeah, I don't see where it's an anti-afterlife. The afterlife, I haven't seen where they've had it as a big unknown. And it's more what I see through here is like the analogy of after the game is done, the king and the pawn go back in the box together.
Well,
We're
yeah, go ahead.
and that's kind of where I see this going all along in Ecclesiastes here.
Well, the verse right before said that once you die, you're dead. Right? Because there is no action, no reasoning, no learning, no wisdom in Sheol. And as we decided, Sheol really could be translated as the grave or underground. I mean, there is a definite set of there's a dimensionality to all this, because you hear about under the sun, the whole thing. Observed under the sun is another way of saying, I've been around the world and this is what I've seen. Which is another Bob Dylan song. Where have you been, my blue-eyed son?
Yeah.
I further observed under the sun that the race is not won by the swift, nor the battle by the valiant.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
Maybe he'd been reading Ecclesiastes.
And it's a hard rains are going to fall. Anyway, this is hard. I think this is one of those passages Avital's probably not happy with.
Something like that.
Okay. All right. Any last comments before we move on? I guess we could look really quickly at Rashi. What is all of the... Oh, somehow it changed language. Let's go to commentary Rashi. Again, I saw... that's just whatever. Isohel's swiftness in Samuel 2 did not avail him when his time to die was... Okay, they're going through each of these. And Avner's might did not avail when his day to die arrived. All these examples of how what is supposed to happen didn't happen, or what you assume should happen does not happen. This one's about Job. Nor riches to men of understanding, such as Job. In the beginning, his livestock consisted of, etc., etc., all of the wealth that he had initially. But when his time came, he said, "Have pity on me, you, my friends." Anyway, interesting. Oops, darn it. Nor favor to the learned. And yet Moses did not get his full reward for being the great person that he is, right? Moses got punished at the very end. Time and chance. 8, Vafega, he says, to be interpreted as its apparent meaning. What does that mean? Okay. All right, nothing that exciting. Let's keep going. Ki gam lo yedadam etito kadagim shenechazim bimsoda ra'a v'chatziporim ha'achuzot bapach Kahem yukashim b'nei adam le'et ra'a kishetipol aleichem pitom. Oh, this is interesting. A person will not know his time, like the fish who grasps at a net or a capturing thing, I guess, a trap, which I guess is a fishing net. And like the bird that is caught in a pach, which they translate as a snare. I bet you have other translations for that.
I think that's reasonable. A pach is like a metal container in modern Hebrew anyway.
Uh-huh. Isn't it also trash?
Yeah. Yeah, it's a container.
In the trash can.
Yeah.
Yeah, for the bird that's caught, like a bird that's caught in a trash can. And just like them, human beings are ensnared at a bad time, at a problematic time, at a time of calamity. I like that. When it falls upon, it's literally when it falls upon them suddenly. That's really interesting, that it falls upon them. That sounds like such an English colloquialism. But when bad things happen, things are falling upon us. That is very interesting. I don't know if everyone else is surprised by this, but the English phrase, you've fallen upon hard times, it seems colloquial, and it is here. Kishetipol alehem pitom. You fall upon hard times, and it's like you fall. It is literally like there's an avalanche on top of you.
Yeah, that's what happens.
Yeah, that does seem to be what's happening in this world to a lot of people. Suddenly people are, things happen overnight. and it's
Yeah.
over.
That's the way it goes.
It's like, who can retell the things that befell us?
Oh
Who can?
yeah, Mia Malel Gvura.
Mhm.
Yeah, but that's a
No,
translation.
no,
But
but it's funny
yeah,
that it
yeah.
rhymes and they were able to create that out of,
I
that.
love that. I love Mia Malel. It's one of my
Yeah.
favorites.
Yeah, but I mean, even if it's not like a calamity, it comes upon you suddenly. I mean, it's at one point, you die. Very few people are going to say, I'm ready to die at this moment and die right then.
I realize as we say this that I made a huge mistake by not putting Bob Smith in our Kaddish list.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
No, he's on the list on the DOF.
We didn't say him yesterday.
He
I don't think
wasn't
we
on the
meant.
Dov.
He was. You missed it.
Really?
He's at the very top. It's under Shloshim.
Oh, okay. Well, that was my mistake.
Pray had it in there. I told her to put it in a while ago when he passed.
Yeah, then I must have missed it. Oh well.
It was a different color. It was pink or red.
Well, I think I was looking from a different list. Sometimes her list and my list would get a little bit out of whack with each other. Anyway, let's keep moving. Should we do one more?
Okay.
Gamze raiti chokhma tachat hashemesh. Sorry. Ugdola hi elai. This too I saw. This too I saw wisdom under the sun. I saw about wisdom. That's interesting. And it was great for me. And I think this is a more poetic translation. What do you guys have for the translation of verse 12?
You mean 13?
13.
This wisdom I have also seen under the sun. It seemed good to me.
Mine is similar. This also I have seen as wisdom under the sun, and it seemed great unto me.
So
Very
interesting, because
similar.
that great is a double entendre. Because great can be a quality, like there's good and there's great. But this great is there's small and then there's a lot. Gedolah hi Eli. Translation can be really interesting. It's not a positive in the actual pasuk, in the verse. Great sounds positive. It just says it had a big impact on me. I
Yeah,
think
that might
that's,
be reasonable. Yeah.
in other words, I saw this stuff. I saw the way in which people suddenly die, and like fish who get caught in a fatal net, or a bird that's caught in a trash can. That the calamity can happen suddenly, and this has basically, it sounds like, has scared the if we were Christian, we'd say the bejesus out of us. Right? It's startling. And it is startling. Like, think about how startling it was when Bob died. No one expected that. He was like known for his health, for his hard, biking, and then one day he's gone. And it is that way sometimes. That, I think, is more the pshat of this.
It's all hevel.
Right. Well, that is definitely true. That it's a reminder of that. Everything is short term. Everything is ephemeral. Very interesting. All right.
Amen.
We could do one more, or we can call it quits. What do you think?
The next one's a big one.
Then we should wait and do it next time.
Oakley dokley. Shavua tov.
Shavua Tov. Now, next week, I have a conflict, so I cannot do it at this time. Would you like to find another time to do it That's also the day of our service. So I'm a little scatterbrained that day. Should we find another time, or should we just let it go?
We typically don't do it on the day that we have morning service.
Correct. So if we skip it, then our next one will be on the 7th.
Okay. That sounds
Sound
fine.
good, everybody?
Sure.
All right. Thank you very much.
All right.
This was always, as always, very interesting.
Shavua Tov, everyone.
Shavua Tov.
Shavua Tov. May you have a good week.
You too. Bye.
Roto.